So today we are talking about having a strategy and why it matters in creating a backyard tropical environment. Hey gardeners, today we are in Port St. Lucie, Florida, and we are going to talk about how we created this tropical oasis, or maybe a start of a tropical oasis, and that's exactly what we did for our client. My client is an avid gardener from up north, and he knows that gardening in Florida has its struggles. So what he wanted to do was not do things twice. He contacted us to create a private area for his very small backyard space. Those of you guys who have moved to Port St. Lucie recently know they have beautiful communities, but the lot lines are a lot to be desired of. You kind of share your lot line with your neighboring house on both sides. So he wanted something that was his, that would become his private sanctuary, his private garden, a place for him to sit and relax. And so he thought, let me have a landscape company, moi, come in and do some of the heavy lifting, create a design that for things that are going to work. And we're going to talk about those plants and trees in this video, why we place them where we place them, for what purpose, and how they're going to grow in over time. And then he's going to do all the, what I call the lipstick and mascara of the garden. After we did all the work of the removal, the cleanup, the soil prep, bringing in the big trees, he is going to doll it up with his favorite plants and trees. And he's already started just a few days after installation. He's already picked up some plants that he's going to work and bring into the garden and do himself, because that is his favorite part of gardening. This might appeal to a lot of you guys. For those of you guys who have a small space like this and you want to create that tropical oasis and you just kind of don't know where to start, then maybe having a landscape company create a plan for you that you can develop over time, or if the budget allows, have them come in and put in the bigger features, the accents, and the tough things to get into your backyard, or have them do some of the heavy lifting of removing that sod and bringing in that soil, and then leaving you that next area to really kind of bring in your personality and dial it in with your favorite colors, your favorite plants, and kind of just doing that over time. So it's the best way to get what you want over a period of months or years and create your own space. And that's exactly what Pat wanted, and that's exactly what we did for him. So Bryce and I are going to share with you this particular project, because we can do kind of Bryce's famous little blueprint above us and show exactly where the plants, where the trees went. I'll discuss with you why I placed them where I placed them. So if you have a place that's very similar size-wise or sun-wise or anything like that, then that's something that you can screenshot and maybe recreate in your own garden with key areas that you might change and play with. And that's what gardening is all about. So I hope this helps to give you that big jump start as we move through this garden and talk about these plants and trees, to create that privacy in a narrow space and something that's really, really going to work for now and long term. But I'm getting ahead of myself. For those of you who are not familiar with this channel or are new to it, my name is Jennifer Bevins. I am a landscape designer here in Vero Beach, Florida, and we do this every day. We do landscape installations and designs for our clients all along the Treasure and Space Coast. I'll get Bryce to put up a little map of our locations over here. We also have just a design service, so those of you DIYers or those of you out of our area that are looking to create a design similar to our styles that you see on YouTube, then reach out to us. We'd be happy to create a design for you. And we also have, which is very new, which is a virtual consult. So for those of you guys who maybe don't have a whole project and you're just kind of stuck in certain areas of your garden and need a little bit of just advice on what you might want to do here or might want to do there, then reach out to us. I'll put all of our contact information down below. You'll reach out directly to Marissa, my daughter-in-law, and she will take all your information, and then you guys can decide if we're going to be a good fit for what you're looking for. You guys, so let's jump right in. We're now entering the backyard. This is the walkway that goes from the driveway around the corner, entering this backyard space. What to expect back here, which is a private garden. And it's not quite private yet, but it will be very, very soon. So we're going to talk about the plants and the trees that we chose for the spaces, what they're going to do in the future, overall heights of what they're going to be, and the reasons why we put them in this particular spot. Just to kind of give you a point of reference, this whole backyard space is about 25 foot deep sway and about 40 foot deep or 45 foot wide lengthwise. So we're really talking about a fairly small space, and I will have Bryce pop in a before picture of what it looked like. One of the things that you want to avoid in a small space is you don't want to take it in and bring all the plants and all the trees and all the walls of the garden and bring them in so tight that you feel, gosh, like you've done the opposite of what you want to do. You made it smaller, you made it more congested. That's why it's really important to pick the perfect column trees to go into that space, because it raises the roof line. It's like all of a sudden now it opens your view line, opens your eyes up all the way to 14, 15, 16 foot, where before you just kind of saw a flat, you know, area of grass. That was kind of what you were looking at. But because now we have multi-layers that are already getting started, it opens up the space, almost like umbrellas at a resort. That's what I love about it. So that's what I wanted to kind of share with you guys, so if you can get them started. And those of you guys who are not able to have a landscape company come in and put in this big material with their machines and do all this, don't let that deter you, because start small. If Florida palm trees grow super, super fast. You may have a gap of time before you're able to put in your smaller plant material because everything is still young and small, but you can follow this same plan. Just make sure that everything is still staggered. So if you're starting with bottle palm, for instance, you know, and you may not be able to go with a 30-gallon bottle palm if you only have a 30-gallon foxtail. Go ahead and start with a 30-gallon or 15-gallon foxtail, and maybe start with a 3-gallon or 7-gallon bottle palm. You know, just make sure you're staggering the material so that way everything grows in unison like this. It's really going to do the same thing. You just need a little bit more time for it to mature. I always forget to say this. If you guys have not already, please subscribe, hit that little notification bell, and we will pop up in your feed every single weekend when we post a new video. So I feel like fishtail palms are underused for whatever reason. I think they're a fabulous tree to work with. I know a lot of people go right to areca palms or right to colusia or right to, you know, some other kind of buffering trees and plants that can even be a lot higher maintenance than that. So I lean towards using the fishtails when I can. But if you guys have a favorite, you know, something that, gosh, you put in and it just did so well and you want to share it with the community, please do post that name of what you used and how well you like it and why you like it, because that is just so helpful to new gardeners from Florida. And that's mainly who watch this channel, are a lot of new gardeners, or a lot of us gardeners trying to just figure it out after, you know, fails and triumphs and fails and triumphs. So save somebody some work and be sure to post that name of that plant or that tree that you absolutely loved and did the job for you. But now let's go into the next, the understory palms. The palms that are kind of right in that sight line. The palms that, to me, are some of the showpieces that are going to be around for the long haul. Some of these bigger trees are going to continue to do what they're going to do, which is really give you that gravitas, that raising of the canopy of the trees. The rest of these little palms, they're little now, but they're really going to become that long-term solution. And one of those is going to be the Kentiopsis. I don't get to use this tree very often. I absolutely love this tree. It can handle temperatures and drops down into the low 30s, which is unusual for a lot of tropical Florida palms. I love this. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell or if it comes across on camera, but I love this big frond and the verticalness of it. I just love the way it just has a completely different look than a foxtail, than a pygmy, than a fishtail. You know, it's the whole idea is when you look back here, you just have a mesh of different kind of textures and different kind of fronds. They're all green, but they're all different, and that's kind of, to me, what creates that tropical vibe. And these are going to not outgrow the foxtail palm. They will continue to get big like a lot of Florida palms, but it's never going to compete with that over time, because this is going to obviously start it out as a much, much smaller accent tree. So these are great trees to work with. They can handle sandy soils, they can handle a little bit of moisture, they can handle full sun, and they can handle filtered light. So, and they can handle those occasional drops that we get. And they're cool. I mean, I just think they're super cool. So nice compact tree that you can fit into a tight space. So the next tree, and I know I use these all the time, and there is a love-hate relationship with these trees so very often, but you guys know they are on my list of fan favorites because they are tough, and I love this wispy frond to them. Now we had 3 pygmy date palms around the centerpiece tree. This is a direct view line from Pat's windows, his doors, right from the front and right from the front door of his house. This is what he sees. And I know he wanted to keep the water line pretty close. Unfortunately, I could not find pygmies any taller, and so I told him, I said, I can bring these in. They're going to be a bit short for right now, but in time, they really are going to create that perfect level of privacy that he's looking for. Once these these guys hit their maturity at around 12 foot tall, they'll have 4.5 foot of trunk. The rest of it will be canopy, and that is going to do, I guess you guys can guess what it's going to do. It's going to completely block out those house lines from his viewpoint right outside his front door, right outside his back door, doors that open up to his screen room. This is going to become a wall, kind of like the fishtail palms do, but instead of being solid all the way to the top, they're going to be nice and open at the trunk and create kind of like a palm hedge along the back side to really give him the wall, not see the roof lines, not see the house lines, but still see the water lines. So, so if you guys can bring them in a little bit larger, if you find them at nurseries where they have more leg and then the canopy is higher and they're around 9 or 10 foot, ideal. They are hard to find at that size because they grow kind of slow. But they do, once they're planted, once they're installed, once they're full grown, they stay there for a very long time. So this becomes a long-term fix. The next intermediate tree is going to be the bottle palm. And you guys know, I love my bottle palms. I just love what they do in the garden. I think they're absolutely just an interesting kind of architectural detail in the garden with those big trunks and how they bow out. This guy is still very young. He was a 25 gallon when we put him in, about 5.5 foot tall, and but max out at 14 foot. And when this is 14 foot, it is going to offer shade all in this area right here. So you can put farfugiums, you can put rojo congos, you can put just tons of stuff, because even at 14 foot, these canopies will have quadrupled in size and really branch out and fill and create like an umbrella around here. Now, a foxtail will only offer so much shade because it is so tall at its full grown height of 20-something height, where this tree itself here will stay kind of squatted and small and really offer a nice bit of shade underneath of it. So it is the perfect tree to kind of create a little shade garden, a little pocket of shade garden. Now, they do like a little filtered protection when you plant them. So go ahead, if you plant a bottle palm, plant a couple trees around them, like a foxtail, like a queen, like a royal palm, anything that's going to kind of give you a little bit of coverage, because they're the perfect under canopy tree. They're always meant to be kind of a second story tree or secondary tree to a bigger canopy tree, and it's really going to give you that multi-layer look. So these guys, pygmy date palms, Antiopsis, those are trees that are going to offer you a great deal of shade underneath their canopies, because they're going to stay more squatted, more canopy than they are going to be trunk. And then of course your trees above them are going to offer those trees the protection. And then you have a heavy tropical garden that is kind of, you know, helping each other with changing the microclimates around it, taking it away from a full sun, bright spot to more of a filtered light environment to give you a lot of opportunity for so many different plant and accents for underneath those groupings. So you guys, it's just that easy. If this is kind of what you're looking for, if you're looking to create something like this, or you're looking to have a landscape designer or moi, someone like me, create something like this for you, then please reach out to us. Our contact information will be down below, and we'd be happy to do kind of a similar thing that we did for Pat here, where we did all the heavy lifting and then you get to do the fun stuff down below. If this is a kind of video that you enjoy watching, if you're looking for some suggestions or just some inspiration, then check out our latest garden tour. We post every single weekend. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next weekend at the very next tour. Take care. Take care.
I'm gonna leave that.